Okay, we are back here. Had a little bit of a trouble with the stream, with the sound and everything, but nonetheless, we are here. We are far and wide. We're at Texas Motor Speedway for the Texas 500 with the National Sim Racing Retro Cup Series at the old school Texas Motor Speedway before they did the whole repave and everything else. But nonetheless, we are here 7 laps in out of 334. A much bigger field here tonight than we had at Bristol Motor Speedway. But nonetheless, we are now 8 laps in. Brian Wiggins with the control up there in P number 1. Daniel Molnix in second. Matty D. Clark running at your top 3. Jacob Kaplan coming off a great win last week at Bristol as a 12. Gets into the wall and is going to be stuck in that wall. Goes Mike Petrin in the number 12 machine. Alonzo King, newcomer in the number 80 machine, trying to do something and show these guys that he can hang with everybody up here. I want to say and apologize to everybody that has been waiting for the stream pretty much all day. Just been super busy over here, but got here just in time to get everything set up and get everything going for everybody out here tonight, and hopefully everybody has a safe Memorial Day. As you know, it's not just for the 3 days off, it's what America has sacrificed to have those days off. But otherwise, still it's Brian Wiggins leading the charge in front of Daniel Molnix and Matty Clark. Matty Clark getting a little bit sideways coming out of the turn number 2. But still a good showing for all of these drivers. As Daniel Molnix now looking to the outside, got a good run down the front stretch into turn number 1. Not going to be able to make that pass this time by. These two had a familiar sight and sound last week at Bristol Motor Speedway. Now they're nose to tail here. Brian Wiggins gets a little bit loose coming out of turn number 2. Daniel Molnix going to take advantage, go to the outside. Side by side goes the 2 and the 5. Who's going to have the run coming off turn 4? It's going to give it to the 2. Matty Clark looking to make a charge to the front here. Oh, the 5 gets a little bit tight. Matty going to dive it down low. Do we see a 3-wide situation here? No. But Matty Clark to the inside of Brian Wiggins, trying to make his way to the front. Give P number 2 to Matty Clark. Back here in the back, though, it's getting a little bit crazy as the 80 and the 28 are now doing a little bit of battle all the way in and through. But you guys see a little bit of those cars coming back in and through here. Turn 1 entry. Everybody just kind of taking their time, as everybody is pretty much gotten into the corners and, you know, kind of separated themselves all the way through this 1.5-mile racetrack. But it is going to be the number 99 of James Marcotti down to the inside of Alonzo King, newcomer. Alonzo King not going to let him go that easy. He's going to drift all the way up towards the wall, almost getting into it, as he's going to get passed by the number 99. And now Patrick Gentner looking to make a pass, but here comes Alonzo King down to the inside of James, making that pass for P number 9. I want to say thank you to all of our subscribers out here on CRN. Thankful for everybody is out there watching, and hopefully everybody has a safe holiday as it is fastly approaching. '99 getting a little bit loose. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the sound down on my mic really quick and turn up these cars and give you guys a little bit. You love to hear it. And we are back, 24 laps in, no caution. Everybody doing what they need to do to get this race done and over with. We had a pass for the lead as Matty D. Clark has propelled himself to the lead here tonight, as we have one guy almost 4 laps down. There's going to be Andy Reeves. Not the way he wants to start the Texas race here tonight, but there are a lot of laps out here tonight, 334 of them to be exact. Enough time to get those 4 laps back and get back on the lead lap. Look at that Mark Sakochi now, as he had the 5 of Brian Wiggins all over his back bumper. Brian Wiggins started on the pole and is now starting to fall off ever so slightly, as he is trying to make his way back up to the front. Mark Sakochi normally has a car that goes, you know, long run. He'd rather work on his long run pace than the short qualifying laps, but making it work here tonight. Just in front of him, the faster passer number 75 of Stody Benfield of that Remington green and yellow machine, as Brian Wiggins takes it down a pit lane this time by. So not sure what happened to Brian Wiggins. Maybe he had a little bit of issues on that 5 machine, but he has taken it down to a pit lane. Dana Molnick still sitting pretty in P number 3. Trying to do what he can to catch back up to Matty Clark, not let him pull away, and to see if he just can't get around that number 31 machine. Alonzo King letting the 43 go on by, and now he's got to play a little bit of catch up to Shane Wielden. I'm not sure if he burned off his tires here or not, but Alonso falling down the grid as Brian Wiggins is back out there on the racetrack, given or taking about 40 to 45 laps on fuel, give or take, and not 100% sure, but making it work right now. As last week, you know, we had Bristol Motor Speedway 500 laps. And boy, that was a long race, but it got done and over with fairly quickly. 13 cars started, 8 or 9 finished. As Alonzo King taking his number 80 machine down into pit lane. See who all out here. Still out there. Look at that Patrick Gettner just in front of Mike Petrin in that number 12 machine. Mike Petrin making his debut start here for the National Sim Racing Retro Cup Series. It was Mark Thomas in that number 12 machine, but now he has moved on and gotten a new person for the number 12, John Thompson in that number 1, following close behind in the Chevy Camaro. Chevy Camaro on a Gen 4 is is awkward seeing that on a Gen 4 car, but as everything is starting to update, we'll be able to see all these cars, as Matty D. Clark did put the 80 1 lap down, but the 80 able to use those fresh tires to his advantage, get back around the number 31, and here comes Andy Reeves. Andy Reeves was able to get around Daniel Molnick and is now trying to work his way around the number 31 of Matty D. Clark. Oh, Alonzo King hard into the inside wall. Not sure what happened to him, as we're going to go ahead and check a CRN replay. Oh, that was... We're going to have to jump in here and see exactly what happened to that number 80. Oh, just hard in the wall there, as Alonzo King has taken his car behind the wall. So it is Matty D. Clark out there in the race lead with Daniel Moldix in P number 2. Daniel Moldix able to get around the number 24. So now it's a 1-2 car breakaway, as pit stops are starting to arise here, as the number 42 looking to take that machine down a pit lane. There's going to be another newcomer, Jeff Huggins, as he is in pit lane, nice and easy, doesn't want to burn anything. Jacob Kaplan sitting P at number 3, but has Stody Bedfield all over his rear bumper. We've seen these two go at it last week, as the 43 or 44 tagged the wall there slightly, able to get it right back off. But we've seen these two doing some battle last week at Bristol Motor Speedway, and were able to pull away from the field. Jacob Kaplan getting the win there last week. But nonetheless, 38 laps in out of 334, and we are still under green. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys tune in to CRN, as we have a lot going on throughout the week. I want to say thank you to Jimmy and Carl for bringing on the 87 cars last Thursday. It was an absolute blast, as that was a really fun race. A lot of guys out there running. If you guys haven't watched that video, go on ahead and go on the back and watch it. It was an absolute blast of a race. 200 laps at the Legacy Charlotte in the 87 races, in the 87 cars. I, however, was not able to complete the race, but it was still fun to do. The 00 of new guy Stephen Almani, bringing that number 00 car down into pit lane, but it's still Daniel Molnix and the 31 all by themselves. Stody Benfield and Jacob Kaplan doing battle now. Now they have the number 99 playing cat and mouse here with them, as Justin Cope trying to get around the lap traffic and try to get around the other drivers, as James Marcotti is one lap down. Justin Cope down to the inside, gets around James, and now he can start setting his sight on the number 75 of Stody Benfield, as the 2 goes into pit lane, and now green flag pit stops are on the rise. The 45, the 99, the 1, the 12, all in pit lane. 33 on his way out. And now it comes down to when does the leader pit. Still a lot of race left here for these drivers. As Johnny Taylor and Robert Lawrence out of the RCR cam not able to make tonight's race, it's all up to Matty Clark, as the 30 or the 75 goes down to block that run on the number 2, and the 75 into pit lane this time by gets it woed up nice and easily. As now it's all up to Matty D. Clark and Jacob Kaplan along with Justin Cope out there that still have yet to make a pit stop with Mark Sikochi. 43 into pit lane this time by. So now there's only 4 cars on the lead lap. The top 4 have not taken a pit stop just yet. The 33 looking to the inside of Mark Sikochi. Mark Sikochi going to stay out another lap as Justin Cope and Jacob Kaplan out there. Justin Cope and Jacob Kaplan into pit lane. Stody Benfield coming out of pit lane. And now it's all up to these 3 drivers to see when they're going to pit. Matty D. Clark is going to go into pit lane this time by. Nice and easy entry. Had a bunch of time on the 8 as he's going to make his way into pit lane. Brian Wiggins back on the lead lap. We'll go ahead and look and see where Brian Wiggins is. He's on the back stretch, so you may be able to come back out and take the race lead away from Matty D. Clark. Through turn 3 and 4. New race leader, Brian Wiggins. He's playing the different strategy than the other drivers, as he is electing to short pit the whole time. And it could help out, but with how much his car was falling off, it may play dividends to him as Daniel Molnix is starting to catch the number 5, and he's right on his back bumper going into turn 1. Down to the inside goes the 2, going to push the 5 up the track. New race leader, number 2, Daniel Molnix, back to the point. If you guys are looking for a good setup shop, go to raceepi.com, as Michael Conti has been making some fire setups for the Gen 4 cars. A lot of these drivers do make their own, but if you guys want a full-blown setup with a replay file that goes along with it, go on over to raceepi.com, as Michael Conti has been making the setups for these drivers on this league during the weeks. And it's also a farewell season to Michael Conti in the Coke Series, as he is going to hang it up for retirement after this season, as Matty Clark has ran the fastest lap of the session with a 29.567. Take a look at this number 31 machine, getting it down into the corners, and to see what this driver can do. As he can see the race leaders, they're right in front of him. We may have a change for the lead coming up here shortly. We're right on board with the number 31. You can see Daniel Molnix not able to get down to the inside, and that's going to kind of ruin his chances of keeping the 31 in front. And just look at the closing distance by the number 31. 31's coming up. Where is he going to go? Matty D. Clark going to look to the inside. Brian Wiggins doesn't want to block that run as Matty D. Clark takes over P number 2. So now Matty D. Clark on the trail for the number 2. The 2 kind of pulling away, but Matty keeping him honest, as Matty D. Clark has 2 to 3 lap fresher tires than the race leader, but we have a spin as the number 24 got up into the wall, going to shoot right back down. Oh, Justin Cope, nowhere to go, as that should have been a caution, as it involved 2 drivers, but Andy Reeves will go ahead and go into pit lane. No caution out there on the speedway. Patrick Gettner right behind the 00 of Stephen Almany. He is running P number 5 as it sits right now, but look at the closing distance on the 00. The 00 is going to go down to the inside to let the the 45 by, and now look at that, faster, all over the rear bumper of that number 45. As he is going to make him run super hard, burn up his stuff, and try to make a pass. Patrick not able to get down to the inside. Stoney Benfield looking to the inside. Stoney has the advantage down on the inside. He's going to make that pass. Patrick going to let him have that position, as Patrick going to follow right behind the number 75 machine. So far, 3 drivers out of the race here tonight. The 12, the 24, and the 80 all packing it up, going to next week, as they are all trying to do what they can to survive 334 laps at Texas. Matty D. Clark has caught the number 2 machine, just under a second away from that top spot. Matty Clark trying to do what he can, as he is running 0.5 quicker than Daniel Molnix here. So Matty D. Clark putting that number 31 machine right where it needs to be, up at the top. It has been an RCR show here for the first 6 races, as only one other driver other than an RCR car has won a race. That's going to be the number 44, Jacob Kaplan, last week at Bristol Motor Speedway. Possible battle and change for the race lead. Here's Matty D. Clark looking down to the inside of Daniel Molnix. Does he have the run that he needs? No, he's still going to be behind him. Going to dive it into turn number 3 and 4. Going to be side by side. Daniel Molnix on the outside, Matty Clark on the inside. Daniel Molnix going to go ahead and lift, but there's the pick that Matty needed. Move Matty up to P at number 1 is a 42. Wrong place, wrong time for the number 2. And now Matty Clark up here to the front. Stoney Benfield right behind the number 33 Skull Bandit of Patrick Stein. Jacob Kaplan trying to pull away from the number 5 of Brian Wiggins. Patrick Stein going to take it up high. Let the number 75 on by. And move Stoney Benfield up to P number 5. As Patrick Gettner has fallen off quite a bit from that number. Oh, Mike Petrin back in the race. I did say he was out, but he's back out here with us. That was odd. But now Sturdy Benfield looking to make a run around the number 5, but he's got to do it carefully as he's got the 12 right behind him. Sturdy Benfield down to the inside. Brian Wiggins looks to try to make that block. Can't get into the corner. Slides all the way up to the top. And move Sturdy Benfield up to P number 4 is Brian Wiggins now has to hold off that number 12. The 12 not on the lead lap, but just there, just riding, taking his time as he's going to be able to get around the number 5 machine of Brian Wiggins. The 00 into pit lane this time by. So look at about lap 80-ish somewhere for the leaders to get into pit lane. So they got about 6 to 7 more pit stops. But new rule over here on the NSR, there's only 5 sets of tires. With it being full distance races, you gotta make sure that you can use those tires sparingly. Patrick Gettner down to the inside of the number 33. 33 is just going to go ahead and let the 45 by. Same with the 8 as Brian Wiggins makes his way into pit lane. So that's exactly what he's doing. He's doing the undercut here. Could work out for him. Just depends on what happens as the 8 making a move on the 45. Move him on up to P number 5. Now it's Justin Cope's turn to try to get around this number 45. Had that little bit of mishap with the number 24. It's John Thompson in the pit lane this time by. Justin Cope able to get around the number 45. It's a little bit loose for that driver. with these drivers out here on a long green flag lap or green flag run. We'll go ahead and take the time to turn the mics down, turn the engines up once again, and give you guys a little bit you love to hear it. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, and back to racing we go. As green flag pit stops have started once again, the two of Daniel Molnix into pit lane. Matty D. Clark staying out an extra lap here. There's Justin Cope getting around the number 75 of Stody Benfield. And then you have the one of John Thompson sitting in front of the number 8 of Mark Sakochi, the 75 into pit lane, the 31 electing to stay out yet again. So trying to play the long game here goes the number 8. As it's always been a good run out here for the number 1 machine, is a 1 lap down, but is going to get that lap back once the leader takes his place down a pit lane. Matty Clark not going to do that just yet, as he has a big gap, 18 seconds over Jacob Kaplan, 26 seconds over Mark Sakochi. So Matty D. Clark trying to do what he can to keep that lead up there. As once he goes into pit lane, he's going to lose that big lead that he has, but he can get it back. Matty Clark getting a little bit loose there, coming out of turn number 2. Is now he's going to go in, and Jacob Kaplan into pit lane this time by. What does Matty Clark do? Matty Clark is going to bring that number 31 singular machine into pit lane. And now Mark Sakochi will be the person to get the lead if he doesn't pit in this time. Daniel Molnix was able to unlap himself. Same with Brian Wiggins, but this time Brian Wiggins not able to get around the number 2 machine. And there we have it. Matty D. Clark coming out of pit lane. The 2 of Daniel Molnix coming around to take the next lap, but Matty Clark going to be able to get out of pit lane before Daniel Molnix can get to him. But with Matty D. Clark having to get up to speed and Daniel Molnix already at speed, that will be P number 2. And Daniel Molnix was not able to get to the back bumper of Matty D. Clark. So Matty D. Clark going to be right back out to the race lead, as that was a precision. Oh, there goes the number 2 down to the inside of the 31. The 43 and 8 into pit lane. The 2 going to take the lead away from Matty Clark. Matty Clark staying strong with Daniel Molnix as of right now, but still doing what he can. Correction, these drivers have 16 tire sets in the pits, not 5. I don't know why I thought 5, but 16 out here for these drivers. So pitting, you don't just want to pit just because and take an extra tire set. But new race leader back to the point goes to number 31 of Matty D. Clark, getting around Daniel Molnix. And now he can start making his way towards the front and getting back to that lead he had. Oh, he's going to start pulling away. Now it's up to the number 28 of Justin Cope as he's getting around the number 42 of Jeff Huggins. And now Justin Cope can try to start working around and away from that number 31. As we're going to go ahead and look on the back dash of the 42, getting a little bit loose coming out of the corner, and now he's got a mirror full of Matty D. Clark right on his tail. He's going to go high, give the leaders the inside. Just go on ahead and let everybody on by. Same with the 2, going to keep it up high. Looks like that number 42 battling a couple issues here. Patrick Gettner, though, just let the number 75 on by. So looking to make it work this time. The 1 of John Thompson in the pit lane this time by. James Marcotti down to the inside, lets Patrick Gettner on by. And now they can start worried about catching up to the leader. As Matty Clark is 2 cars behind the number 45. So you got the 99 and the 28. And then you got the race leader of Matty Clark, which, if you look right here, that is Matty Clark behind the number 28. So the 28 and the 45, along with the number 75, are possibly in danger of going a lap down. As look at the drive from the number 31 down to the inside of the number 28. He's going to be able to put him 1 lap down. And now Matty Clark with the number 99 making quick work of him. Matty D. Clark still in the race lead. Everybody pretty much spread out. No big battles really going on throughout the field other than Justin Cope and the 45 now. We'll see what they can do around each other. Justin Cope able to get around the number 45 pretty easily. Matty D. Clark putting the 75 one lap down. And now it's all Matty Clark as he has pulled out to a 4-second lead over Daniel Molnix. Is coming up on the halfway point here in tonight's 334 lap race. $226 laps to go for these drivers. Still a lot of racing left here for these drivers, trying to make it work, but everybody single file all the way throughout this pack. I'm going to go ahead and bring on in one of the race car drivers out here tonight, but not in the field. He helped me out in the booth last week, and that's going to be Alexander Encarnacio. Alex, how you doing out there, buddy? Oh, you know, just watching these guys go around in a circle for 334 laps, be spread out. Longest green flag run that we've had all season long. So, yeah, it's Texas. Tire burner, 16 tire sets. Pretty much, you know, a single file all the way through this pack. Oh, yeah, you definitely want to take care of them tires. I didn't realize what the track temp was. Didn't even get to... Well, actually, if you want to get technical, I got in here a little bit late. Couldn't really do anything, but, you know, I've seen people getting loose off turn 2, turn 4, through the tri-oval, actually. That little dog leg that Texas has is getting a lot of these cars upset, I guess, with the quick little turn of the wheel. But everybody able to keep it straight. Alonzo King kind of whiffed it on the backstretch. He's out of here. Andy Reeves got loose coming out of the corner, got up on the hood of Justin Cope down to the inside. He put his car in the garage. And then Stephen Almighty, new guy, try to see what he could do out here. He just took his car behind the garage as well. Yeah, you know, and especially with a hot track, it's going to make a lot of people drive a little bit different. I know that from league experience, depending, you know, granted, I do fixed setup races opposed to you guys doing open sets. The only time I do open sets is on C-Class official races, so a hotter track, more wheel spin, tires are going to get a little bit hotter. They're going to make people drive a little bit different. than what you would see with a cooler track that's already gripped up and ready to go. So you're definitely going to see a lot of these guys doing a little bit more give and take throughout this race. You could join off of somebody. I don't know. Well, here, I'll just do it like this. Yeah, see? You're all good, man. It happens. Looks like Mark's the coachy now, doing a battle with Stoney Benfield. He was able to get around him, but now Justin Cope, right behind the number 75, is, you watching the broadcast earlier and seeing how these guys have went through the progressions. The 5 has taken a much different approach to the field strategy here. He's undercutting everybody by a lot of laps. He'll get back up to the lead, but the fresh tire advantage of the drivers that go the full field distance is kind of hurting him here momentarily. Yeah, I mean, that's how it comes down to. It's been Matty Clark and Daniel Monix to the front. Jacob Kaplan running out your top 3. Jacob's been up there, just hasn't been towards the front battling for the lead or even second place, but still trying to keep that number 44 as clean as he possibly could after that showing at Bristol he had last week. Yeah, the damage wasn't bad. He's got a little bit of a fender pushed in on that left side, or the right side, I should say. Just got up underneath the number 24 and put him down to the inside wall, and he just happened to tag the wall. So not a big advantage to the number 28 with a little bit of damage that he has, but yeah, Justin Cope's been running a super clean race. The 12 is going to get underneath Justin Cope here, and I think with it being a lot of these drivers a lap down, you don't want to get caught racing one of these lap down drivers and then burn up all your tires. So Justin Cope doing the gentleman type thing and just let these lap cars go. There's only 3 drivers on the lead lap. That's going to be the top 3. Then everybody else 1 lap and more. Yeah, and, so Daniel Molnex will pit, excuse me, 2 to 3, maybe 4 laps before Matty Clark. Be put a lap down, obviously, but whenever Matty pits, he'll get his lap back, and then when Matty comes out of pit road, they'll be nose to tail, but it's just the 3 to 4 lap tire difference. I know it's not super crazy, but with a tire eater track like the Legacy Texas that we're on, it does take a toll on your tires, not as much as the new layout of Texas, which in my mind is awful. Tear it down, bring back the old track, and we'll be fine with that. But, just with the hot temperatures that we have out here, the dirty air playing a factor, everybody's on different pit strategies, no cautions out of 124 laps, it could definitely come out here and play different speeds, as I had your mic muted this whole time. So, yeah, I just realized that I forgot to unmute the Discord chat, so everybody thought I was talking to myself there for a minute, but got you unmuted. We're good to go now.
I see how it is, Dylan. I see what you're trying to do.
No, I'm just used to being in my, in my zone by myself, and I mean that is just me. Just in case if I happen to hop in a Discord to see how many laps these drivers can get on a tank of fuel during the race, I don't want the broadcast to pick up what they're saying, any profanities, anything like that. So it's just human error by me. Blame the broadcaster. First, he showed up late. He lost sound, had to back out of the session, come back into the session. It's been an up and down day for myself in here in the broadcast booth.
Hey, you're here, right?
Yeah. Great way to start a vacation.
Better late than never.
Yeah.
Right now, though, just noticing Jacob Kaplan, his car seems to really fall off. About 0.4 faster a lap Matty D is, and this is big because if Matty D can pass Jacob, that's a lap down. Jacob will go. There will only be 2 cars on the lead lap.
Yeah, I mean, Matty Clark is getting ready to go to turn number 3 now, and Jacob Kaplan's coming out of turn number 4. So not a big difference for these 2 drivers. Jacob back almost 25 seconds on Matty D. Clark. Jacob Kaplan has the 42 right behind him, the 5, and then it looks like the or maybe, I don't know who's behind the number 5, it's the number 33. But he's got some cars behind him so he can use the draft of the 43 of Shane Wheeldon. But I think Jacob's just playing the long game here, just wants to ride. He's still in good spot to finish that top 3 podium spot here tonight, so he just wants to keep that momentum riding after last week.
Yeah, he's running a little bit different line than Matty D. He's running a little bit higher. Matty D really arcs that corner. Right about the middle, he's in the second lane, and right about the exit, he's hugging that white line, gets a straight exit off, and I think a lot of his speed is coming from that. You can see his rear tires wiggle just a little bit, so he's definitely not saving, but he's getting really good runs down these straightaways. He's like about 2 miles an hour faster than some of these other cars at the end of the straightaway.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and bring up the dash here for everybody that can see what we are talking about here. Down in the right hand corner, you can see in the corners Matty's hit about 155 at the apex and right back up to 185. Yeah, hits 185 going into the corners. Daniel Molnix, though, down the backstretch, only going to hit he's going to hit 185 as well, but he's backing his pace down just a little bit more, so he's losing about 5 miles an hour going through the corner, when Matty Clark is keeping that 5 mile an hour average up there. And Daniel Molnix now trying to get around Mark Sikochi as green flag pit stops are on the rise again.
Yeah, Sikochi just went a lap down. He has a really good car. His lap times are about the same as Kaplan right now. He's just going to need a caution at this point, get that lucky dog, get back on the lead lap. I think Kaplan's going to need it as well. I really do think Daniel could beat Matty D on speed. He's going to have great pit entries, great pit exits, and see if he can learn anything. The more time he spends close behind Matty D, the more he can learn on what makes Matty D so good at this track. Why, what is he doing differently? Why is his car that much better on the long run?
Yeah, that's exactly how I look at it. You're only going to get better and faster if you try to mimic what those drivers are doing in front of you and racing people that are faster than you. I know I've ran with Matty Clark. Me and him are part of EPI, so we run with each other a lot. I always try to see what I can do to hang with him, Johnny Taylor, or anybody in an official race. I got the chance to race with you. I believe it was Darlington, maybe, I don't know, whichever track it was, or maybe it was, I don't know. It was a C Open race. I got to race with you, and I ended up getting junked, but nonetheless, it was still, trying to find out what I could do with my vehicle and to see if I can keep up with those front runners and Yeah, if you overdrive the car, you can definitely tell by the end of the run as, you can't get on the bottom. You can't get on the gas as quickly as, other people can. And it just takes a toll on you. So trying to find that happy medium with everybody is definitely something that you got to watch out for. As Matty Clark still going to stay out there another lap as Daniel Molnick's able to come down into pit lane. But Patrick Gettner setting the fastest time out there on the track with a 492.
That's awesome for Patrick. And Patrick is one of those drivers, he doesn't care about the fast lap time. For those, he's the guy that methodically just picks away lap by lap. He's really, really good at preserving tires. He takes care of his equipment. He's not a hot lapper, but he wins races by being the better driver on that long run. He's really good at that. Unfortunately, 7 laps down here. He'll get a few back once Matty D pits. But right now, really the race you want to see is how much time can Daniel Molnick gain on Matty D by short pitting. He was 8.2 seconds behind him when he pitted. And if he can come out 3 or 4 seconds ahead of Matty D when Matty D comes out on pit road, I think they're going to break even for the next pit cycle. It's going to require Matty D to have a slow pit entry. But I think it could happen. We'll have to see which way it swings. I would hate to see the second and first spread apart even more. But yeah, Dylan, I think it was Kansas we raced at, because I never do officials. And I was like, you know what? I built a fast truck for Kansas, so I'm like, let's try it out. Finished second, which was cool. I could have won if I did if I took the outside on that green-white. But yeah, that was a good race.
Yeah, it actually was. As we have a change for the lead. Daniel Molnick to the point, got out of pit lane a little bit better than Matty Clark, but Matty Clark is going to have the fresher tires of the field. And, Matty Clark keeping him right there, 0.4 of a second behind Daniel Molnick. And now we're definitely going to see what these 2 to 3 lap difference of the tires make. But so far, Daniel Molnick not able to get away from Matty Clark, as Stony Benfield has a battle going on, and pretty much everybody's still spread out. The battle for the lead starting to intensify here with these top 2 runners.
I like what Daniel's doing here. He's running really fast laps, a lot faster than what he's done all race. I think he's been saving for the first 10 laps, and it obviously hasn't been working. So he's trying something new. He's running some crazy fast. I think he set the fastest time with a 4:59. I hope it works out for him. A lot of the times when you run hard in the beginning, sometimes the cars like it. If the setup is built a certain way for you to drive hard, if you start taking it easy, it doesn't handle the way that it was intended for. So Matty D's looking outside here though for the lead.
Oh, look at that big wiggle from the number 2. Absolutely sideways Tokyo drift in that thing. And now Matty Clark back around the outside of Daniel Molnick. Move Matty Clark back to the point. And that's, if I was in Daniel Molnick's shoes, I would have tried anything and everything I possibly could to keep that number 31 behind me. And just try to focus in my mirror. Okay, where am I losing time to Matty? Where am I gaining time on Matty? And try to do what I could to keep that number 31 behind me without getting absolutely ran over. But with it being a 330 lap race out here tonight, kind of got to give and take here, especially only 140 laps into this thing.
Yeah, this is Daniel's time to learn what's separating Matty D from himself on these laps. And you can see right here, Daniel's staying really low the entire corner, which is not what Matty D's been doing. And Daniel's really loose on exit. You can see that rear end wiggle off of 2 and off of 4. Whereas Matty D is just, staying a little higher, arcing really wide and getting good runs down those straightaways.
Yeah, with me, if I were to do that high arc into the corner, I'm just going to be burning up my tires. I don't get how people can do the high arc, especially, with me having a higher arc, I'll let off a little bit earlier, get the car rolling and all that stuff. But it just seems like I burn my tires super quick if I do that higher arc. So it's kind of finding that happy medium And I think right now Daniel Molnix is more comfortable ripping that inside, doing the Harvick line, and Maddie is almost an incident there with a 2 and 5.
They have history.
Yeah, they do. That is history that hopefully is not going to repeat itself. Is Daniel able to get around him nice and easily? But like I was saying, looking at Molnix, he is more comfortable ripping that inside line as opposed to Matty Clark. He's more comfortable with a higher arc, getting it down to the apex, and then coming back up off the line, opening up the wheel, and getting it back up to the wall.
Yeah, Brian Wiggins with that short pit strategy is in the spot for the lucky dog if there's a caution right now. So if I was Mark, I would be hitting that loud pedal and try your best to get in front of that 5 because with how little caution, we haven't had any cautions. You never know if you're going to be able to get that lucky dog later in the run.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be something out here to watch. I thought there was going to be a couple, and I noticed, a couple of times when they're getting their cars wound up, it's a little bit loose. Cold tires on a hotter track, it's going to happen. But once they got to going green, it's been green the whole way. So, like you said, want to take your time through the corners. Don't want to heat up those rear tires more than what they already are on this hot surface. As I'll go ahead and bring up what the track temp is. Track temp is 113 degrees, air temp 70 degrees. So a big difference there here at Fort Worth at Texas Motor Speedway.
Yeah, I think that's the hottest it's been. I was talking earlier how I liked Daniels trying something different, trying hard early in that run, try to get as much of a lead as he can, but I think it really hurt him. He's running some pretty slow lap times comparable to his later pit stops. He's only just about 10 laps into this run and running 30.7s, whereas prior 10 laps into a run, he was still at 30.1s, which is a dramatic difference.
Yeah, it could be a bigger difference as Matty D. Clark and company are just behind the number 44 here. I'm going to go ahead and look at the rear view. You can see the 12 right behind the number 31 as the 31 is under attack from the number 12. He's on more fresher tires than what the 31 is. 31's just going to let the 12 go on a bye. And I think right there, I would want to make Matty Clark run that outside, burn up those tires just a little bit more to give Jacob Kaplan and the number 2 a little bit more time to get up towards the front.
Yeah, he's only 3 seconds away from Kaplan. I know Kaplan doesn't want to see that. He's going to need some help here. I don't think he has the pace to stay up front. I think we're going to need to see a caution. And, he might hold up Matty D enough here. Daniel's only 4 seconds behind Matty D, but the dirty air here is really bad. So watch Jacob as Matty D catches him defending his lead lap position.
Yeah, I mean, defending it, yeah, I could see Jacob Kaplan defending it, but with the way that Matty Clark's coming in and out of those corners, I don't know if Kaplan is going to be able to capitalize on a defensive move. And, it just, like you said, it's going to come down to the dirty air effect for the number 31 as Brian Wiggins was in the pit lane and now he is out. So, looks like Brian Wiggins still sticking to that short run strategy.
Yeah, he didn't get the break that he needed. Puts Mark in the lucky dog position now. And Stoney's not too far behind Mark, so that's an interesting race right there for the lucky dog if the caution comes out. But coming back to Jacob, if he can hold that bottom line, hold it true, it won't be easy for Matty D to pass him. I don't think, and I think it'll burn up some of his stuff. I know Jacob doesn't race like that, but desperation might set in here.
Yeah, coming up off of turn number 2, Jacob Kaplan getting into the wall, letting the 12 by, and that's going to hinder just a little bit. So now Jacob Kaplan has a little bit of dirty air. Now he's trying to play that bigger gap or bigger arc into the corners just like Matty Clark is doing. And now we have the number 99 into the wall, down to the inside. Just going to stay down to the low side, let everybody by. And we are still going to stay green. Is the 42 going to rip the outside, not able to get a good enough run off of the number 44. And Matty Clark slowly catching the number 44 and the 42.
Yeah, I mean, Matty D was running really fast laps, and now he's kind of stuck behind Huggins and Kaplan. And he's still opening up his lead with Daniel. But we'll see what happens to his tires later on in this run, if this affects it at all. As he goes below Huggins right now, he's going to have a little bit cleaner air.
Yeah, Huggins really diving it into the corners. He's missing the apex into turn number 3. You've seen his car go all the way down to the inside and then shoot all the way up towards the wall. And Matty noticed that, let him do what he wanted to do, and he was able to capitalize on that. And now the leader is on the back bumper of Jacob Kaplan. Going to put him one lap down if he can get to his rear bumper.
Yeah, Matty D stinking up this race. I think even if Daniel short pits Matty next run, it's getting to the point in times where I don't think he'll end up right in front of Matty D, which will definitely hurt. He can't hold them up anymore, and he won't be able to see what Matty D is doing differently. By the end of this pit cycle, I see Daniel probably being 10 seconds behind the leader.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard. I mean, with the pit stops and the strategies that have been going on with Daniel Monix pitting 2 to 3 laps before Matty Clark, every time they come out, it's Daniel Monix will get the lead off of Matty Clark, or Matty Clark will be able to keep in front of Daniel Monix. But it's just with the fresher tires of the number 31, he's just able to pull away and just go. As Matty's getting a little bit loose coming out of the corners now, so maybe over driving just a little bit on exit is starting to hurt that number 31 machine. But I think if it comes down to it, we could see a really good battle for that number 2 and the number 31. But it's just, what adjustments can you make to that setup to hang with the number 31 that's been dominant all night?
It's tough. I don't know the secret. I wish I did. I wish I knew what Matty D was doing differently. The cars in second and third are cars I built. So I'm hoping to find that difference. I know I can. It'll just take, I think a few more races. We're getting there. We were way off. Daytona, we were the fastest, but second race, we were way off, and we've been making progress ever since. He's a great driver, Matty D, that has a car that probably has the most downforce here in the field. So he's able to just run these crazy lap times, but he's been really stuck behind Kaplan here. This has been interesting to watch. His lead with Daniel hasn't opened up that much. It's only been 4/10 in the last 5 or 6 laps. But prior to that, it was like 3 to 4/10 a lap. So this is interesting. Kaplan kind of washes up here. He's going to have to stay low to give Matty D that dirty air if he's going to want to hold his lead lap.
Yeah, he did just that. Kind of took a little bit of a higher arc, pushing that dirty air all around the number 31, having to make the Matty D run a little bit different into the corners. But like you said, the gap is opened up to a little over 7 seconds for P number 2, Jacob Kaplan, doing what he can to keep the number 31 behind him. And there it is. Kaplan going to run just a lane higher, going to chop down right in front of Matty's nose. But
Matty got loose there.
Yeah, it's packing that air off the front end of that car, making him a little bit loose, but able to catch it, get his head back in the game, and get back up there. But if I was in the car, obviously the adjustments you could do as a driver inside the car are, far to none, other than, the spring perches and brake bias and tire pressures and stuff like that. I mean, with Monix, watching him the first couple laps being a little bit loose, I'd probably take a couple, maybe a half pound to a pound out of the left rear, add a half pound to a pound in the left front, and do some spring adjustments, or the perch adjustments. See what happens. Just take one run to see what happens with those perch adjustments and the tire pressure adjustments, see what you can gain or lose in the long run.
Yeah, here's Kaplan on the outside of Matty D. I think Kaplan's still going to hold a position here. Matty D is definitely not happy about this. I can see it.
Oh, Kaplan into the wall.
Kaplan in the wall. He said his monitor shut off.
Oh, no.
I think we're going to have a caution here. If he has to stop on the track, we might have a caution. Looks like he's bringing it down pit lane. Wow.
Big championship implications for the number 44, having the monitor shut off. I haven't got to experience that yet, knock on wood.
I was on lap 95 out of 100 at a Michigan race, and my wheel just stopped working. Leading.
I haven't had that happen either.
Who would have thought you would have mechanical failures in iRacing, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, you know, with the next gen, you know, you break a toe link, have the tire come up and smack you in the face. The 87s do the same thing. The ARCA cars, you just bend a wheel out of shape. You know, it's just a lot of different stuff that can happen in any type of race. Is Jacob Kaplan going to go ahead and go into pit lane, get that car service, get the fuel and the damaged fix that he had, and that is a big tough break for that number 44 machine.
It could have been a whole different situation if he was underneath Matty D and that monitor happened. He could have came up and crashed the leader there. So really fortunate that Matty D took the inside there, and no other casualties in that event. But yeah, as you were saying, with adjustments with these cars are super sensitive with the perch adjustments. The crossweight on these cars really affects where the front valence is and really can change your aero balance. So you can change that stuff, and it will help in certain parts of the track. But a downforce track like Texas, you want to try to minimize messing with any of that. You want as much downforce on that car as possible. And usually the way it leaves the garage is, you know, set up for downforce.
Yeah, see, I don't really get to run the Gen 4s at all. I've been focusing on the truck series and 87s, as those are my two favorite things to run in here. Do a little bit of next gen just to, you know, get better at them, I guess I could say. So other than that, I'm just, you know, running the two cars that I like personally running. Granted, trucks you can run the open sets. The 87s you got to pretty much run the fixed set. So give a little bit of give and take, especially with the opens and the fixed. But that's going to give Mark Saccoci the top third spot, as he's got a nice little gap between him and Cope, but Stoney trying to do something to get in that top three position.
Yeah, Stoney's about 2/10 a lap faster. I think he's going to end up catching Mark here. I thought Mark had a really good long run car. I don't know how different their pit strategy was. It looks like they pitted. It looks like Stoney actually pitted a lap early. So that really says a lot for Stoney's car. He's really running pretty much same lap times that second place is. You know, Matty D's on his own planet, but second, third, and fourth are running really close times.
Yeah, it's you know, third running at 31.8, fourth 31.7, fifth 31.7. Leader's running 31.4s. So once Daniel Molix comes around here, we'll be able to tell what lap times he's running, as Daniel Molix puts up a 31.6. So Matty Clark by far the fastest car on the longer run with a 31.4. Everybody else running 31.3s, 31.4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, and 8s. So Matty Clark's still trying to open up the biggest gap that he can. He pretty much set his pace for the rest of this race, and that's pretty much what Matty Clark's doing out here tonight.
Yeah, Stoney gained another 10th and a half, so I think we're going to see this position, this exchange here coming soon. It really depends how can Stoney pass him. You know, if you're going on the outside, the second lane here doesn't have a lot of speed, and it will burn up your tires. You really got to rotate the center and sneak underneath, similar to what Matty D did to Kaplan when he was passing him to get on the lead, to put Kaplan a lap down.
Yeah, definitely got to do what they can to try to do that, as Kaplan has retired from the race. Going to pack it up, go back to the hauler, and get ready for next week, as Stoney Benfield closing in that gap on Mark Saccoci. But he has the number 99 all over his back bumper.
Yeah, 99's 12 laps down, so let's see how hard he'll race Stoney here. I know if he's going to get on the inside of Stoney, Stoney won't appreciate that. You know, we saw incidents last week with lap cars holding up lead lap car. Well, Stoney's not on the lead lap, but still racing for position. Looks like the 99's going to go outside. Mark's been running the outside and getting a really good run down the straightaway. And 99 looks under Stoney right here. I think we're going to see... Let's see if the 99 can catch Mark here and hold Mark up, and that might allow Stoney to catch up. That time by Mark a little bit faster. I think he found something on that second lane. He's getting really good runs. Mark ran a 1:14 to Stoney's 1:75. Not a whole lot, but a lot better than being 2/10 off like he was 5 or 10 laps ago. Looks like Stoney's gonna pit earlier than Mark here, which will cycle them back. This will be interesting because Stoney's gonna end up in front of Mark.
Matty D. Clark still setting the field here. 177 laps in, no cautions. Green flag the whole way as Justin Cope takes the number 28 machine into pit lane. And now Matty Clark will be the only car on the lead lap.
Yeah, Daniel pitted here. Even with this short pit, Matty D would have to stay out for a long time for Daniel to make up that time. Because he was just about 10 seconds behind Matty D when he pitted there. He's running decent lap times, just about a 10th and a half off. Not really far off, but when you have these long runs with no cautions, this is what happens.
Yeah.
Whereas,
Go ahead.
I think Matty D might set everyone except Daniel 2 laps down, which is really impressive.
Yeah, and you know, especially in the official races, you know, when you do the officials, I know you don't really do a lot of them, but most of the time you want to, if the guy in second place, or let's say I'm in second, you're in first, I kind of want to, if I know that when I see you pit, I want to hurry up, get into pit lane before you get out of pit lane. Just that way, you know, I'm not losing more time than what I could be out there running more laps than what you did. So Matty D. Clark still out there. That's lap number 3. So maybe this time we'll see that number 31 go into pit lane. And those 3 lap adjustments for tires is really starting to hurt the number 2 as the 31 is going into pit lane this time by.
Yeah, I think you'll see Daniel make a little bit of an adjustment here. Not with the car, but his driving. Like we were talking about, he drove really hard those first few laps last run, and I really think he paid for it in the middle of the run. At the end of his run, he was running really good laps, but in the middle, his laps were way off. So I think we'll see him cool it down a little here, just kind of pace himself around the track. Is Brian Wiggins with his short pit strategy is now ahead of Stoney and Justin. Mark had a really slow pit stop. I don't know what happened there, but Mark is about half a track behind Stoney. That could have been from Stoney's short pit. It was like 2 or 3 laps. That could be the difference right there. Stoney has a better long run car, I think. So I feel like Stoney's going to start pulling away here, and I think Stoney's a shoe-in for 3rd position, which will be great for points. He's 2nd in points right now, I think only behind Johnny Taylor, who's not in this race. So I think what will end up happening here is Stoney can keep his nose clean the rest of the race. We got 154 laps to go. I think Stoney's going to be our new points leader.
Yeah, I think so too. Is now the 99 and 75 are nose to tail now. The 99 taking the inside lane away from Stoney. That's something that you don't really want to do. You know, running the outside seems like, you know, the longest way around the track. Obviously it is. You know, you would think it's counterintuitive. You know, you're running the outside, you're not turning the wheel as much on that outside, so you can save a little bit of tire. But it's not the case. You're on the outside, you're in the throttle more than what you are down on the inside. Yes, you don't have to turn the wheel as much, but you're using the throttle to help you turn as well. Down on the inside, you're out of the throttle more. You got to turn the wheel just as little bit more, but you're not using the throttle to help turn the car, keep the RPMs up. So it's kind of backwards, but that is kind of not. You got to kind of look at it from a racer's standpoint. You know, me, I'm always out there on the track on different nights, racing league races, open setup races, anything I can just to get myself better out there on the track with these drivers. So it's a lot of give and take, especially in whatever you're doing. So me personally, if I was running this race, I don't like the Texas Motor Speedway by any means, but right now, if I was Stoney or Daniel or anybody else, I just kind of say to hell with it and just give a dog a bone, see what I can do, push it hard the whole run, see what you could do the whole run pushing it hard. Because obviously with open setups, you're not going to burn as much tire as you would with a fixed set. So, you know, just kind of give and take, see what you could do. As we have a big battle back here with the number 28 of Justin Cope, as he was able to get around the 45, the 33, the 31, and the 42. As Shane Wilden goes into pit lane this time by, and now he's on the back bumper of Mark Sikochi.
Yeah, I think Mark passed him in that exchange. Mark's running some pretty good lap times, 30 flats. The leader right now is also running 30 flats. Olnick's just ran a 9.58, which is awesome. He was 10 seconds behind. After that cycle, he's now 5 behind. If he can maintain this and repeat, he'll be right there at the end. We're probably going to have 3 more pit stops. The leader's last pitted at lap 177. So you're going to have 45, 40. Yeah, we're going to have at least 3 pit stops, but they're not going to be full runs. So it'll be interesting here on how short some of these drivers will cut it. Because you don't have to do 3 full runs. You can do 2 full runs and then short the 3rd run. Some people make that 3rd run, or the 1st run, the short run, and really gain some track position here. It'll be interesting to see what's going on. Molnix is running great laps, though. Not far off from the leader.
Yeah, you know, that's basically how I'd look at it. You got to try to make up some sort of pace where you can make it up at, and right now with it, you know, Matty Clark setting the pace that he's doing is Justin Cope hard on the outside wall, so that's going to hinder his opportunity here. But, you know, like you said, 3 more pit stops, 142 laps to go, give or take, or 144 laps to go in this race. You know, 3 pit stops, 2 long runs, 1 short run. And, you know, if we have a short run caution, that could reset everything. You know, you got to pretty much get back in the mindset of, okay, I have a good short run car. I know what my car can do on the long run. Let's just run qualifying laps this whole time and see what we can do.
Yeah, and Dylan, you know what happens when a caution happens. Cautions breed cautions.
Oh, yeah,
so,
big time.
And we have 3 cars right now lined up to get their lap back. So they would need a caution, they would need to stay out, and another caution. But that could easily happen. We'll have 5 cars on the lead lap, which is 150% more than what we have right now.
Yeah, it's definitely, hopefully it doesn't happen. I would like to see race go completely green. I don't think we've seen one just yet. We had one race where there was only one caution, then we had races that had multiple. So we've seen far and few and in between, just not a race that went completely green. As the 5, the 33, and the 99 in pit lane, looks like John Thompson took his car out of the race to do a little bit of race control. As maybe we should dial up John to see if he's still awake. I mean, it's pretty much boring down there in the race control booth. It's boring up here for Barney the flagman. And, you know, he's probably asleep too. So, love to see these guys get these long green flag runs in. Only 2 cars on the lead lap. That's going to be the 31 and the number 2 of Daniel Molnick's. And you love to see it, but then again, you hate to see it because you want to see a stacked field battling for that race lead and a potential win.
Yeah, there's no way you can have that with a hot track like this going green. You know, this reminds me of Atlanta a few years ago before they repaved it with Kevin Harvick. You know, Matty D's reminded me of Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick just put an ass whooping on everyone for a few years there at Atlanta. And the race looked very much like this. I remember there was one point only 11 cars on the lead lap out of the 40.
Yeah, definitely going to be something fun out here to watch. You know, it's definitely different to do. So, got to make sure everybody does what they need to do, gets in there, and it keeps that car clean. You know, you can run whatever line you need to, but being there at the end is what you're going to need to do. Is Matty Clark having to deal with a lot of lap traffic here. He's got the 5, he's got the 8, he's got the number 12. So a lot of these drivers all on the lead lap, or lap down. And, you know, if I'm in this race and I'm laps down behind Matty Clark, I'm just going to let him go. I don't want to race the leader, make him burn his stuff up, but, you know, that's just me. A lot of these guys are like, you know what, I can win it still, so let me see what I can do. As Brian Wiggins looking down to the inside of Matty D. Clark.
Yeah, that's not good for Mark going 2 laps. At that point, you're going to need a miracle to come back on the lead lap. Let's see what Stoney can do here, holding his own against Matty D. We saw last run, Matty D, if he gets in a little bit of dirty air, you know, it's not as easy for him to pass. So it'll be interesting here to see how hard Stoney will hold him up. How far will he be willing to go to stay that lap down? Going 2 laps down is never fun. It brings doom on the race. It's really hard to come back from that.
Yeah, you know, and just because you go laps down, you know, or anything like that, just stay in the race. Because, I mean, anything can happen. It's happened to me where I've been 5 laps down in a league race and, you know, cautions kept coming out. I got back on the lead lap and I was back in the race. So just because you get down and out, don't leave till it's over. You know, don't leave until the checkered flag is out. You'll be able to get yourself back in the race and potentially get the race win. As now Stoney Benfield getting passed by the number 33 and the 5 down on the inside. Stoney letting those drivers go on by. The 33 up into the wall hard. And going to see if Matty Clark able to get around him. Not yet. As the 33 able to get it off that wall. But I noticed there's Matty Clark did not run the bottom. He kept those right side tires on that seam. And now he's back up to the top. So not sure if he's trying to do a little bit of a lane change here, see what his car does in the middle. He's got enough time. He can do it. It's just, do you want to take that time to lose a little bit of time on the long run to run a different line? Or is this just an experiment run here for Matty D. Clark?
Yeah, I think he's trying to get out of that dirty air. but he's still running great lap times. Still 2.5 tenths better than Daniel that time by. He's on slightly newer tires by 3 laps. But yeah, I just think he's searching. His car looks really loose on exit as he gets a little sideways exit there. So I know if I'm Matty D, I don't want to catch this lap traffic, especially on exit. And you know, with these Gen 4 cars, they have so much power. As soon as you start getting a little sideways, if you stay on it, good luck. That thing's going around. We saw Matty D spin out plenty of times. We saw it at Bristol, Myrtle Beach. It's not for a lack of skill. These things are really hard to drive, and to drive them fast, they have to be on the edge 24/7. So when you're on that edge and you hit that dirty air, it just changes your world. Because right now he's running, 1/10.5 better than Daniel that lap. So the closer he gets to Stoney here, the worse lap times he's running, and the closer his lap times are to Daniel's.
Yeah, you know, it's... I don't know what I would do. I'll just stay there for the ride. I mean, you got, you know, almost 100 laps to go here tonight, and, you know, it's pretty much, you know, where you put your car at. You know, lap cars aren't playing a big factor to anybody. They're getting out of the way, which is something that you don't really see a lot of. And I think it's just with these drivers being so conservative, not wanting to cause accidents, wants to hurry up, get this race over with. I think that's what you're seeing here tonight, is Matty Clark all over the back bumper of the Stoney Benfield. Stoney's going to take it to the outside, just going to let the 31 go on by, as Stoney going down another lap. So now it's turning into a good race out here, as Mark Sikochi trying to capitalize on that. He's one car behind the number 75, as he's got to get around the number 12 and then start catching up to that number 75. But looking at the track map, you see it there. Everybody's spread out, no big battles, focusing in on the race leader here. So with that being said, give you a little bit of a rundown on what's going on CRN this week. Tomorrow night, you're going to have myself in the broadcast booth as the Core Premier Series hits the track at Daytona Road Course in the Mazda MX-5s for the last race of the playoffs. Who can clinch, who's going to get the race win, and who's going to be the final 5 in the championship races coming up on Sundays for the Core Premier Series. I'll start that session about 9:45 p.m. Eastern on a CRN. Monday night, you have the Core GT Series as they go to, let me look here. They are at Phillip Islands on a Monday morning, 45-minute endurance race. You don't want to miss that. Tuesday, we're going to have myself down in the car for the ARCA race and the truck race as they go to Phoenix International Speedway. 60 laps for the ARCA cars. You don't want to miss that. That's going to be a great broadcast, great race. I love Phoenix, especially in the truck and the ARCA car. John Nobinger, Caleb Collins, and Ricky Gonzalez will have the broadcast up there for you. Make sure you guys tune in to UCRL, as Carl and Jimmy Covert will have the broadcast for the Top Gun 87 series over at UCRL on Tuesday night, immediately following the ARCA race. Wednesday night, you're going to have no broadcast here until July 12th. That's when Lucky Dog Sim Racing comes back for season number 2, but a new car. Instead of the super late model, they're going to the late model stock. All fixed setups. Can't thank Jeffrey Vickery enough for allowing me to showcase what they are bringing. I'm going to see what Jeff Radke can do and get a second season wrapped up, as he dominated the first season. Going to see what he can do in the late model stock cars. Thursday night, no broadcast, as we're still waiting to see if the 87s are going to make a return to CRN. Friday night, you have the Red Line Racing with Mark Thomas and Carl Handwerk in the broadcast booth for CRN. Not exactly sure where they're going, but it is a Gen 4 league, so make sure you guys look out for that on Friday night. Saturday night, we're going to be back here in the broadcast booth with myself, possibly Alexander Encarnacio, not exactly 100% sure, but that's going to be a nice long race. I can't remember where they're going. I'm going to have to look at the schedule here.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
I
I'll
think,
check for it.
let's go to announcement. We'll wind up here. I believe.
Looks like they're going to IRP. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh, another home track of mine. Lucas Oil International Speedway. 1-lane track towards the wall. A lot of passing. And over under 10 cautions.
Whew. Judging by this race, I'm going to say under.
It's a short track.
I know. Yeah, Bristol had how many? I think it was 9.
I'm saying I couldn't even remember. I mean, 500 laps. I was kind of tired by the end of that thing. So, I think I can believe in these guys. I think they could get that race down and out without a problem. So, I guess we'll find out coming up next week. So that's definitely going to be something fun. Also, if you guys are energy drinkers out there and like Dubby, make sure you guys go to Dubby.com. Use Core Dub, all one word, all capitalized, COREDUB on your next order for 10% off on anything Dubby. So I want to say thanks to Dubby for coming on board for CRN as a proud sponsor. I want to thank Kelly Pointer for Pointer Motorsports coming on board, sponsoring the GT Series, the ARCA Series, and the Truck Series. I want to thank Joka Graphics. I want to thank everybody out there that makes CRN what it is. As we're coming up with 100 laps to go, lap 212 out of 334. And that gap has went from 7 seconds all the way up to 13 seconds for our race leader of Matty Clark, as now he's going to start working on the number 33 of Patrick Stein.
Yeah, I think pit stops are probably going to happen here soon, but unfortunately, I got to go to bed. I have a big car show in the morning, 7 in the morning. It's 10:30 here, so I'm going to take a shower. I'm going to leave you, Dylan. I hope the rest, what do we got, 120 to go? I hope they're action-packed. All we need is a caution.
Yeah. Let's hope we don't, but if we do, we do. I mean, everybody is pretty much set up through the field. But, Alex, it's been a pleasure having you up here in the broadcast booth. Hopefully you have a good time at the car show. And are you putting a car in the car show is my biggest thing.
Yeah, it's I'm into Japanese cars. So I have a Nissan 240SX that I'm bringing. So that'll be cool. It's like the first big one of the summer. I don't normally go to car shows. I go to a car meet here and there. So it'll be interesting. Supposedly it fills up by 8 a.m. and it starts at 10. So it'll be interesting. I think it'll be really cool though.
So basically what you're saying is when you pull up in there, you're going to have the Tokyo Drift theme song playing in the background.
Oh yeah, something like that. Or what is it? Teriyaki Boys, I think. Yes. And it's bright pink, so it just adds to it.
That's even better. Well, but we hope you have a great time at that car show. Hopefully you get a place where you deserve. And thank you very much for stepping in the broadcast booth here tonight with me.
Thanks, Dylan. I appreciate it. I'll probably join you next week after I crash on like lap 80 because these races are too long for me, man. I'm balls to the wall. I'll wreck before the end of this race.
All right, buddy. Well, take care, and we'll see you next week.
Have a good one.
Yep. Well, that was Alexander Encarnacio in the broadcast booth with me here tonight as he was making it go just a little bit quicker. As we are coming up to halfway on the race, well, 100 laps to go. I want to say thank you to everybody who has liked, shared, subscribed to CRN. Thank you all for being out here with your continued support. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and go to a quick You'll love to hear it, and we'll be right back. And we are back here, 100 laps to go. Daniel Monix getting passed by the number 5, but not for position. As Daniel Monix trying to capitalize and catch up to Matty D. Clark. As these drivers have all made their pit stops. I'm going to go ahead and bring up the pit strategy, pit stop lap. See what lap all these drivers have pit. So we're at about, doesn't give me a lap that he is pit, but now it is up to Mark Sakochi to hold off the late charge from the number 33. Able to do so. See what he can do out here tonight to keep everybody behind him. But nonetheless, it is still Matty D. Clark out there making his name known and wants to get another win capitalized here for the NSR. Still Matty Clark up here towards the top. Not looking to make this win at number 2 on the season. As Johnny Taylor, Robert Lawrence, and Brian Whitney not able to be out here with the fellow RCR driver. Look at about 11 cars out there racing as the 42 is in pit lane and not been able to come back out. Look at that number 42 here, see if he's got any damage on that car. Yeah, he's got quite a bit of damage on his number 42, but it is Matty D. Clark holding strong, making that gap get a little bit bigger out here. Matty D. Clark still out here running some laps, getting everything up and going, as he is still the race leader. As we are under our first caution of the night. I'm going to go ahead and jump back here, see what happened to the number 99. Gets loose right in front of the race leader. Spinning it all the way around. Comes to a dead stop. He is off the racing surface, but a caution does fly here tonight. 247 laps complete as we are under our first caution. A great job and great run by all these drivers. As now it's going to open up a new world for all these drivers. Data Molnix and the number 31 able to be the only ones down pit lane this time by. They're going to go out there, get those pit stops taken care of, and see exactly what they can do. I want to say thanks to everybody out there watching the stream. Barry Kistler, Susan Ritchie, Ruth Gardner, all going with Faster Pastor. Barry went with Kaplan. A lot of racing out there, that's right. And yes, Barry, we did need to see that caution. Now it's going to kind of regroup everybody back together. And now Matty Clark is not going to have that big lead that he had earlier in this race. Everybody able to get back around, but still going to be two drivers on the lead lap, as Molnix and Matty D are going to be the only two on the lead lap. Starty Benfield down only one lap. Mark Sakoshi's down two, Justin Cope down two, Brian Wiggins down two. And then you get into Shane Wheeldon with 5 laps down, Patrick Stein 7, Gettner 9 or 8, Petrin 11, Marcotti 20, Huggins 30, Kaplan 88, Thompson 149, Stephen Olmani 186, Andy Reeves 202, and Alonzo King 218, but out of this race. Drivers are side by side, gonna get ready to go back racing. As Matty D. Clark, for the first time tonight, will be able to restart. It's going to be the 2 and the 31. Going to see what they can do. As everybody is starting to catch up, foul all the way through. And it's up to Matty D. Clark when he wants to go. As we are just under 100 laps to go. Matty D. Clark, Daniel Molnix to the restart zone they go. Matty D. Clark with a good jump. Daniel Molnix actually got a better jump than Matty D. Clark. side by side into turn number 1 and 2. Matty D. Clark down to the inside. Daniel Monix on the out. Daniel Monix not going to be able to get around and clear of Matty Clark going into turn number 3. See it here. All the way down to the inside, getting good digger cam. You see everybody running that inside. A couple stragglers up on that outside. And that will do it for turn number 3. Turn number 1, you see everybody taking a nice high arc into turn number 1. Down to the inside, getting to the backstretch. And the top 2 have absolutely gapped the field already. It was going to be these two battling, but behind them we have Mark Sakochi, Patrick Gentner trying to spoil the party, get back on the lead lap. Five of Brian Wiggins down into pit lane. Not sure what's going on with that. The 33 is getting passed by the race leaders now as Daniel Monix all over that back bumper. Not letting the .31 get away. Down to the inside, Daniel Monix getting a little bit loose. Driving that car hard. Trying to get around Matty D. Clark. They still have one more pit stop to go. What can Daniel Monix do to secure that first win? Down to the inside yet again goes Daniel Monix. Just not able to get there. It's a little bit loose. Off the corner exit. .73 laps to go for these drivers. As these two have absolutely pulled away from the field. And Daniel Monix still on that back bumper of Matty D. Clark. Maddie Clark able to put a little bit of a distance on the number 2, but they do not want to put any more than what they have, as Maddie Clark trying to secure the spot and secure tonight's victory. Gap starting to open up just a little bit more. It's not up to a full second, but it's up to 0.7 of a second for Matty D. Clark. Matty D. Clark opening it up to almost a second now. We'll go ahead and look back here towards the back is Stody Benfield having to make his way through the field. He's got P3 pretty much locked up. Just can't go more than one more lap down, as Stody Benfield respectively sitting P at number 3 here tonight. Back here towards the back, having to make his way through the field. So far, so good for these drivers. Everybody having a long green flag run here again tonight. 99 down into pit lane as Daniel Molnix is starting to reel back in the number 31, but not enough as of right now. Daniel Monix now starting to lose a little bit of time on Matty D. Clark. The number 43 of Shane Wielden has the number 33 behind him. Shane trying to get that top 10 here tonight. Pretty much everybody that is still out there on the track is guaranteed a top 10. As everybody is back to single file racing throughout this pack. 274 laps down out of 334. It is going to be an exciting finish to the end. Matty D. Clark running 31.1s. Daniel Monix running 31.2s. So they're the fastest cars out there on the track. Now it's up to Shane Wielden having the 5 running the outside. Able to close up that gap but not get around him as the 99 gets a little bit loose in the back. Coming through that backstretch area. of Justin Cope able to pull away from Mark Sakochi just a little bit more, and the 2 leaders have just absolutely taken off from the rest of the field. .99 going down to the inside of the number 43 to make that pass. 43 is going to let him go. Was not for position, as the 5 is trying to capitalize on some spots with the number 43. Stody Benfield still holding P number 3 strong, was able to get around everybody. And now the 8 has fallen back down to P at number 5. Over Justin Cope. Back here it is Brian Wiggins using that tall, wide, handsome number 5 machine out there on that outside. Lost a couple of spots. Trying to make his way up and then through the pack. Looking to capitalize on that. He's going to miss the apex. He's going to slide up the racetrack. That's going to give the 12 another run at him. No, he's not going to be able to capitalize. Still a single file all the way through the pack. Through this field. Number 5 on the outside of Shane Wheeldon. He's going to be able to make the pass. He's getting a little bit loose coming off corner exit. So that's going to be something to watch here. Now he's going to start making his way around the number 75 of Stoney Benfield. Stoney down on the inside, 5 on the out. Oh, the 5 gets wicked loose. Something that you don't really want to see. Stoney's just going to let him go on by. It's not for position. Stoney's still down on that inside. Oh, Brian Wiggins cut down in front of Stoney Benfield. Thought it was clear, but was not. And that is going to warrant a yellow, as everybody kept it straight. But that will bring out our next caution. Because we'll go ahead and take another look here at this yellow flag. As we'll go ahead and watch it here. Brian Wiggins on the outside, Stoney Benfield on the inside. Just comes straight down. Stoney, oh, a little bit of net code between the two drivers. But Stoney held his line. Brian just came down on top of Stoney Benfield to cause that caution. Caution number 2. So with that being said, I don't think the 75 is going to be able to get that lap back due to him being involved with that caution. As Stoney Benfield was able to get the lap back. Stoney Benfield going to be able to go into pit lane. Daniel Monix and Matty Clark back up here with the race lead. Matty D. Clark, Daniel Monix. Going to bring these drivers to the green. And here we go. There we go. Matty D. Clark getting a good jump on the 2. Going to pull out to a quick 0.3 of a second lead here with almost 30 laps to go. So Matty Clark pretty much leading every single lap of this race, doing what he can to keep it as he wins. And now Matty Clark with a late charge from the number 2 right up on that back bumper. Does Daniel Monix have the short run speed? Daniel Monix right up on that back bumper. Here comes Mark Sikochi as well. But now you got the 75 on the lead lap. If a caution comes out and he's not involved, it could make it a 3-car race. Down to the inside, it goes to the 75 on the number 12. He's got to battle through the lap traffic. Get back up there too at Daniel Monix and Matty D. And right there goes faster around the number 12. He's going to miss the apex and the turn altogether. Going to get a wrap back down to the inside. Stody Benfield finally working his way through, but the battle for the lead has changed Daniel Monix to the point with 36 laps to go. Matty D. Clark all over that back bumper, going to try to make him loose just a little bit, not able to do so. Matty Clark back to P number 2. Going to roll that outside ever so slightly. Not going to be able to get there on Daniel Monix. Matty D. Clark right up on the back bumper, almost shoving him through the tri-oval. Matty D. Clark, 4 1,000ths quicker than Daniel Molnick. So these cars pretty much the same speed and time. Matty D. Clark down to the inside. Molnick's thought about blocking the run, but didn't get it there in time. Matty Clark gets a little bit loose coming out of starter before. 34 laps to go here at Texas. Matty D trying to do what he can to get back up to the point. Just not able to do so here just yet. As Stoney Benfield able to get through the field, get back up there, and now has to track down the top two as they are battling super hard right now for the win. The two of Daniel Molnick's able to hold off the 31 for now. But what does the 31 need to do here to get that race lead back? Still a good battle for the race lead between the two and the 31. 31 just wants to keep him there, keep him in his sights. See if he just can't make him overdrive a corner. As their lap times are pretty much similar, 30.309, 30.299. So Matty Clark faster, just by a little bit. Riding P number 2. Matty D. Clark down to the inside. A big dive from the number 31. Two's not going to be able to get down. Going to be tied. Almost touching. Two able to hold off that charge from Matty D. Clark. That was crazy. So far, Matty D. Clark not able to get around. Matty D. Clark not able to get around Daniel Molnick at the time, but still going to try to make him overdrive just a little bit. Matty D. Clark cannot find a way around Daniel Molnick. Could this be the race? Daniel Molnick holds off Matty D. Clark. Big battle for the race win. As now Matty D. Clark goes to the outside, way up top. Not going to be able to make that work. A little bit sideways goes, and the number 31's got to chase it around. And now we have a bigger gap between P number 1 and P number 2. Matty Clark is now trying to play a little bit of catch up here, as Daniel Monix is setting his sights on his first win. But he's got a bad fast number 31 tracking him down little by little every single lap. The lead back down to 0.1 of a second. It's going to come down to these two for the race win. What does Matty Clark need to do to get around Daniel Monix? He's tried the outside, he's tried the inside. But what more does he need? Looking at it now, that gap starting to open up just a little bit more. Stody Benfield has third place all wrapped up. Now he's going to start battling with the number 5 and get around him and slowly start catching up to our race leaders. Race leaders right now, 0.1 of a second now. Matty Clark had a great exit off turn number 4. What can he do with it to get around the number 2? See it here, right up on that back bumper of Daniel Monix. Gets below him just a little bit, but not able to make it capitalize here on the racetrack. Daniel Monix able to get around Matty Clark and has not looked back, but now Daniel Monix getting a little bit loose. Seen that rear end to get a little bit wiggly in front of second place. Matty Clark still running faster lap times than Daniel Monix. Daniel Monix opens up the bottom. Here comes the 31 down to the inside. Side by side battle as Matty Clark got a little bit loose. Got to change his entry just a little bit. These two get to battle, and that's going to allow Mark Sakochi to get up here towards the front. Another great exit by Matty D. Clark. Stody Benfield not able to get around the lapped car of Brian Wiggins. And now Brian Wiggins lets him on by. Daniel Monix getting a little bit loose there. You see it, that back end starting to step out just ever so slightly. Yes, these cars are a little bit yawed, but they're supposed to be that way. Matty Clark going to take a higher entry. Get it all the way down to that inside, and look at the run he's going to have coming out of turn number 2. He's going to be a little bit loose. Monix a little bit loose as well. Best quarter exit I've seen from Matty D. Clark here tonight. Dives it down to the inside. He's got to brake a little bit harder. That's going to make Daniel Monix run out the racetrack. And Matty D. Clark getting a little bit loose. Now he's got to regain all of that position back that he lost. Looking back here towards the back, Justin Cope sees nothing but a bunch of cars in front of him. The 12 has the 99 and the 5 in front of him, as Stoney Benfield has absolutely pulled away from the rest of the field and has taken them to Gapplebee's. As looking at Daniel Molnix, get a rear view shot of this. Matty D. Clark right up on the back bumper. Higher arc, dives it down to the inside. Matty Clark is there. Can he get a good exit? Alongside goes the number 31 and the 2. Down those Texas super stretch into turn number 3 and 4. Matty Clark not having the advantage, but the 2 is running the outside, not where you want to be. The 31 gets a better exit. Give the lead still to the number 2 by almost a full car length, or not even by a car length. Down to the inside goes the 31 again. Going to see if he can get around the number 2, and no, he's not going to be able to. 99 into the pit road. Matty D. Clark coming to 10 laps to go. What can he do? Does he give him the chrome bumper, or does he let him get his first win? Daniel Molnix doing what he can to hold off the late charge from Matty D. Matty D getting a better center rotation on that number 31 machine down to the inside, and not going to be able to get alongside of Daniel Molnix. Cautions played in favor for the number 2. He was able to get the lead and has not looked back. Matty D looking at the race win potentially slip away. Can he get around him? Matty Clark still running a little bit faster than Daniel Molnix, but that's because he has a little bit of the draft. Down to the inside he goes again. Matty Clark is way loose. And I think that might have sealed it up for Daniel Molnix, as now they have lap traffic in front of him. He's got to get those tires cooled back down. Here is James Mercotti back out on the track. And it's only a matter of time before that 99. He uses the fresh tires to get around the 31 and the 2. Does the 31 have the speed to get back up to the number 2? Justin Cope now dealing with the number 5 of Brian Wiggins. See it here, Justin Cope trying to get around the number 5, but not going to give him a challenge here. This is not for position. But Brian Wiggins trying to do what he can to hold off that number 28. .33 had a little bit of problems getting into pit lane. Gonna have to see what happened here. 30-3 of Patrick Stein down into pit lane. I think he might have looped it getting in. Oh, just a little bit too fast. Locks him up into the inside wall for that number 33. Back here to the front is the 28, able to get around the number 5. Daniel Molnix up to a 0.4 of a second gap over second place of Matty D. Clark. Trying to do what he can to catch back up to Daniel Molnix. 5 laps to go here at Texas. Daniel Molnix just 0.2 seconds ahead of Matty D. And all that time that Stoney Benfield has put on the rest of the field, Justin Cope and Brian Wiggins have been able to track Stoney Benfield back down. Matty D. Clark running his heart out, trying to catch these drivers. Four laps to go here at Texas. Matty D. Clark and the two, your top two. And then Stoney Benfield back there about half a track back from these two. Matty D. Clark is now experiencing that dirty air that Daniel Monix had all race long. 3 laps to go. Both drivers loose coming out of turn number 2 as Daniel Monix was able to get his car under control quicker than what Matty Clark could. 75 letting the 28 by as Matty Clark and Daniel Monix 2 laps to go. Last ditch effort for Matty Clark. What can he do? 0.2 of a second. He's closing in. Can he make it? He's got to get that top side away from Daniel Monix to have a shot. Daniel Monix playing that middle lane perfectly. Matty D. Clark going to be right up on his back bumper. Last lap here at Texas. What can Matty Clark do to get around the 2 machine here? It's going to finish under green. Daniel Monix, half a lap away from victory. Matty D. Clark smacks the wall. That's going to give Daniel Monix the edge he needs, as Daniel Monix through turn 3 and 4 had the dominant car last week, got involved in multiple wrecks, and Daniel Monix will be your race winner here tonight at Texas. Matty D. Clark finishing P number 2. Stoney Benfield coming around to finish P number 3. Mark Sikochi in 4th. Justin Cope in 5th. Brian Wiggins in 6th. Shane Wilden in 7th. Patrick Gettner in 8th. Mike Petrin in 9th. Patrick Stein in 10th. James Marcotti rounding out your 11 cars on the racetrack. Jeff Huggins sitting in pit lane. Jacob Kaplan in 13th. John Thompson in 14th. Stephen O'Maney in 15th. Andy Reeves in 16th. And rounding out your 17-car field will be the number 80 of Alonzo King. Daniel Monix, you have deserved this burnout, sponsored by yours truly. I don't even know who the sponsors are. I just felt like saying it. But Daniel Monix going to burn it down here tonight at Texas. Able to get the lead away from Matty D. Clark and get the race win. As we're going to go ahead and bring up the results page for you guys and give you guys one last rundown on the finishing order. Daniel Monix coming out here with the race win. Matty D. Clark finishing P number 2. Stoney Benfield in 3rd. Mark Sikochi in 4th. Justin Cope running out your top 5. 6th will be Brian Wiggins. 7th, Shane Wilden. 8th, Patrick Gettner. 9th, Mike Petrin. 10th is going to be Patrick Stein. 11th will be James Marcotti. 12th, Jeff Huggins. 13th, Jacob Kaplan. 14th, John Thompson. 15th, Stephen O'Maney. 16th, Andy Reeves. And running out your 17-car field will be Alonzo King. We're going to go ahead and get our top 3 in the broadcast booth here tonight. As rounding out your top 3, I'm going to go ahead and bring in our 3rd place finisher. That's going to be Stoney Benfield. Stoney, this is Dylan in the broadcast booth. You got a copy. I'm doing pretty good up here. Kind of got a little bit of a late arrival for you guys out here tonight, but nonetheless got the broadcast up and going. Had a couple of issues with the broadcast, but nonetheless was out here watching you guys rip around at the old Texas for 334 laps. But man, strong P3 here tonight. Got back up here in the broadcast booth. What more did you need to see what you had for Daniel Monix and a Matty D? Yeah, a nice strong P3 here tonight. Now you go back to another short track that's going to be Lucas Oil Speedway. It's pretty much a one-lane track up by the wall. What do you think you have to do to be competitive there and get those passes done? Right, it's definitely going to be a great show. But Stoney, you had a lot of people out there watching you and supporting you throughout this race here tonight. I know that you're putting on a race in a few weeks. I was looking at the comments out there, and first off, I am sorry to hear about that. That is something that you don't really ever want to see anybody going through. But kind of give us a little bit of a backstory on what's going to be happening in a few couple weeks here for that number 75 machine.
Go through tough things. If you don't have the Lord, you don't have anything. And everybody, one of these days, is going to be through a tough time, especially when they face death. So we're just trying to get the message out, man. There's hope, there's victory, there's forgiveness, there's salvation. And so that's part of all that we do, everywhere we go and everything we do.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a fun one. I wish I could be out there racing with you. And prayers to you and your family. My dad's wife is currently going through leukemia, so I know how that is. You never want to get struck by that cancer. It's just it's pardon my language, but it's bullshit, especially with a kid to have it, 2 years old. Hopefully he does survive it, gets through it. Everybody over here on CRN is going to be pulling through for Judah. It's a terrible diagnosis that anybody could ever go through, and I wish you and your family the best of luck. Keep positive thoughts on everything that happens with Judah. He'll be in my prayers, everybody's prayers over here on CRN, and I can't wait to see that car out there on the track racing for Judah.
Yeah, we encourage anybody that's listening to join in. It's not this Monday night, but next, June the 5th at 8:30. And it's a Sim 500 Racing Series. And so, but anyway, thanks for the interview. I praise the Lord tonight that he let me finish this with no incident points. And we should hold the point lead, I think, going into IRP. I'm not sure about that, but I think we probably should. And so we're excited about the league. Thank you so much, Dylan.
Well, Stoney, half of your interview I forgot to turn on the Discord mics, but able to get that away, so I do apologize for that for everybody out there watching. It's just great to see you come out here, run the full-length races, what you do and put on. Glad that you're out here racing for a great cause. And Stoney, before we let you get on out of here, is there anybody you want to give a shout-out to on that number 75 machine?
Sure. First of all, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I say it every time, but I can't help but say it. He changed my life in 93. Then Cody Porter builds us great setups over at Zeem's Setup Shop. And we're thankful for them. And then all these people, man, there's probably 30 people or so that watch these races week in and week out. And I want to thank them and my personal sponsor, nc811.org, for their help. So it's been a great night. Thank you, Dylan.
Well, thank you for joining and running some more laps with us, and we'll let you go ahead and celebrate that third place victory here tonight, and hopefully we'll be able to talk to you again next week at IRP.
That'd be great. Thank you, buddy. Have a good night.
You as well. That's going to be our third place finisher of Stoney Benfield. I do apologize to Barbara Pinion and everybody out there. I messed up again having the mics turned off due to Discord. You know, I had somebody in here that I turned them off just that way. I just kind of messed up. But now we're in the booth with P number 2, the fastest guy out there on track by all the means necessary. This is going to be Matty D in the number 31. Matty, this still in the booth. Get a copy.
Yep.
All right, Matty. You had a absolute dominating performance here tonight. It just seemed like once Daniel Molnix was able to get around you, you tried your heart to get around that number 2 machine, just kind of ran out of time.
Yeah, I was kind of overzealous. Didn't really wait long enough. Felt like if I could have waited a little bit longer, kind of settled down, I might have had the tire to get around him.
Yeah, you pretty much had the pit stops down to a T. Couple of them he got out ahead of you, but with you having a little bit more fresher tires than Daniel Molnix, were able to pretty much take him to Gapplebee's. Just those cautions fell at the right time for the number 2 machine. Seeing how loose you were coming out of the corners, did that play big effect to you try to get the run on the number 2, or were you just happy with where you're finishing?
I mean, I'm happy where I'm at. Kind of redemption for him for Rockingham. I know there's a huge wake behind these cars that kind of played into effect.
Yeah, you were able to push out to a little over, almost lapping the whole field, and then cautions bred cautions, and that last restart, he was able to get around you. Like you said, you weren't able to hold him off or use the tires to your advantage. I thought you could get back underneath of them, but it seemed like the high side had the better run. And is that what you're trying to do to get on his outside?
No, I mean, I felt like I could have got underneath of him. I know he was getting loose there about 20, 30 laps in off the corner on both ends of the track. And that was kind of helping me get back to him. And then James coming off a pit road there kind of played into an effect of how the last 10 or 15 laps went.
Yeah, he came off of pit lane and, lap cars playing a big effect there. But nonetheless, finishing P number 2 here tonight. Is there anybody on that number 31 machine you'd like to give a shout out to?
Johnny for putting together another ripper. This thing was bad fast.
Yeah, you were the only RCR car out there tonight. Probably Johnny out there sleeping.
Yeah, he fell asleep.
Oh, see,
yet again.
Okay, look.
2 weeks in a row.
Can we just
That's his handicap.
Can we just do like a little GoFundMe for an alarm clock for Johnny Taylor? Because that's 2 weeks in a row that he has slept through a race.
I don't think that's going to help.
Something. Get the man's phone number. Start calling him repeatedly to see if he wake up. But
I tried that. He keeps his phone on silent.
Yeah, no, you can't be doing that, Johnny. You can't be doing that. You gotta keep
on
your
race
phone on.
night.
Yeah, exactly. Not on race night. But nonetheless, you dominated the race. Come home P number 2. Now we go to another short track, IRP. It's going to be a 1-lane track up by the wall. What are you going to need to do to, one, keep it on the wall, keep it away from the lap traffic, and keep it on a pole well, not pull necessarily, but keep it up front and out of dirty air.
Survive.
Yeah, it's kind of the name of the game, kind of like Bristol.
Short tracks or survival.
Yeah. You know, my home track, so I'm kind of biased to that track. You know, I do like running IRP, but I don't know about the Gen 4 cars. They're a different team of cars.
We'll do some testing this week, so we'll see how it goes, see how we fare.
All right, Maddie. Well, if Johnny Taylor's the only shout-out you got, we're going to go ahead and let you get on out of here and celebrate with all the guys up here in Discord, and we'll be seeing you again next week.
All right.
All right, that's going to be our second place finisher of Matty D. Clark. Now we're going to move on to our race winner, the man that lost the race last week due to some overzealous driving. That's going to be Daniel Moldix. And the number 2 machine, Daniel, this Dylan in our broadcast booth to get a copy.
Yep, I got you, man.
All right, finally, you got it done here tonight. You didn't have any problems.
Nope.
Kind of walk us through that last 50 laps getting around Mr. Matty D.
I knew me and him. He had me beat on a long run. We were pretty even there for the first 7 or 8 laps of a run. By then, you know, you start burning off some of the right front, and then the way the air works at these 1.5 miles, you know, it's just tough to pass. So I knew, you know, I was gonna obviously need to get ahead of him, and then just try and keep air on his nose. That was the name of the game.
Yeah. Yep. Go ahead.
Yep. Me and him, we've already talked it through. I'm not 100% sure that I got into him off of 4. I know that I did roll up to his bumper and pack air on his spoiler to loosen him up to get a run. You know, I'm not 100% sure that I touched him, but if I did, you know, still at the end of the day, that's part of racing too. You know, I've been passed that way. You know, just a couple weeks ago at Gateway, I handed the race away there to Maddie, you know, on that late race restart. So, I guess it's finally all coming, you know, full circle. Like I said, I hate it for him. I know how, like you said, how it is to have, you know, one of the fastest cars, really good shot at winning the race, and it not happening because of, you know, something I did or lap cars or another car, whatever, you know, but finally got one.
Yeah, you finally got one here tonight at 1.5 miles. You had one taken away from you at Gateway, then at Bristol, and now you kind of, like you said, game all full circle here tonight, got the race win at Texas. Now, what's that momentum going to mean to you coming next week at Lucas IRP?
Try to get another win.
Yeah, we've seen that number 2 do good.
I was really good at Bristol, you know, short track. So I got a really good feeling for next week. It's, you know, it's a flatter short track, but still short track is a short track. So, you know, I'm sure there's going to be, you know, a little bit of rubbing and, you know, all that stuff going on, but hopefully I'll be out ahead of it and not even have to worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the name of the game. Just like Maddie said, it's going to be all about survival. And last week you had the survival part down until, you know, some unlucky events happened, but it came full circle here tonight. You got the race win. Mm-hmm. Is there anybody on that number 2 machine you'd like to give a shout out to?
I want to give a shout out to Alex for my setup. He builds rocket ships week after week. Jacob got him one last week. I got this one tonight. I mean, you've seen how I was at Gateway. You know, just he builds really good cars.
Yeah, we're starting to see Alex's setups come on around. Pretty much the only other team to sneak up and take 2 wins away from the RCR camp, and you know it helps when you only have one RCR car out there instead of all 4 of them. So right. Might as well take them when you can. But before, it's definitely going to be something fun to watch here for Lucas Oil IRP. And like you said, just stay out of the mess and stay out of the drama, and hopefully we get to see that number 2 machine back up there in the podium spot.
Hope so, man. Fresh paint scheme. I just finished it up this morning. Put it on track and look good.
All All right, Daniel, we're going to go ahead and let you get on out of here, celebrate that victory here tonight, and hopefully we'll be talking to you again next week.
All right, hope so. I'll see you next week.
See you later, buddy.
Later.
All right, that's going to be the race winner here tonight. And that's going to do the race in total for CRN and National Sim Racing Retro Cup Series. Want to give a big shout out to everybody out there that is supporting Stony Benfield in his hard times, especially with Judah going through leukemia. We wish you all the best of luck out there, Judah. You'll always be in our prayers. And hopefully you can kick cancer's ass and get back up to where you need to be. That's going to do it for myself up here in the CRN broadcast booth for NSR here tonight. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow night for Core Premier Series at Daytona Road Course in the MX-5s, as I will bring you the coverage at about 10 p.m. tomorrow night. Monday night, you got Phillip Island in the GT3 or GT Core GT series, as Carl Handwerk and Terry Jansen will bring you the live coverage from that. Tuesday night, you're going to have John Obinger and Ricky Gonzalez, along with Caleb Collins on the broadcast booth, as I will be down in the car for the ARCA Menard Series and the Truck Series at Phoenix International Speedway. Wednesday, no broadcast along with Thursday. Nothing for CRN on Wednesday and Thursdays. Friday night, you're going to see Carl Handwerk and Mark Thomas back up at the broadcast booth for the Redline Racing Series in the Gen 4s. You don't want to miss that, as they're getting ready to wind down their first season. Saturday night, you're going to be back here with me in the broadcast booth for Lucas Oil IRP for another long, adventurous race. That's going to do it for tonight's race. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for supporting and watching the broadcast here tonight. Make sure you guys take care. Brush your hair.